What's going on, everybody? Welcome, what does Vinny say? Welcome, UTB community. I am one of the producers here on the UTB Podcast. You will not be hearing me too much this episode because it is a special episode. We got the whole gang together, the whole gang of champions. So we're going to start it off with, first of all, thank you all for coming today. I appreciate the game you're going to give to the people out here. So pretty much like I was going along with them, I wanted to get a championship edition together, just talk about mindset and stuff like that, going to fantasy football. Or going to the playoffs and going into the championship game. How you felt when you won, if you remember anybody like a sleeper on your team that you picked up, or just someone who was super solid all season for you that took you to that place. Just to kind of give the people a little insight on what your team was like when you won. So we got Stan here. Now Stan is a 3-time champ, okay? Okay, what'd you do, a back-to-back?
I did a back-to-back.
Okay, so he won the first one out of it all, and then took a year off, and then came back with a two-piece. So we got Stan here, and then we got Vinny. We got Vinny, what year did you win, remember? 13, 14?
13, I don't know.
Alright, but
I'm a winner. Winners don't remember their last one, they remember their next one.
And then we got Scotty here, the man who created UTB. Okay.
Yes, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got Vinny here. We got the newcomer came out of nowhere and just took the first year, right?
First or second.
Mr. Cartel himself, JT.
Body bag.
And then we got the reigning champion, okay? At one point in the league, if you shook this man's hand,
yeah, man.
running back went down.
Yeah, man.
He had a curse, but he broke it last year where he won, and he made it possible for me to actually be in a position this year until I fumbled it away and gave away my whole team. So we got the man Leon here, the reigning champ. What's up, champ?
It was good. I was about to say we'll talk more about that curse.
Yeah.
Later. That's part of the mindset that developed me. But
Okay. So
it was true.
Yeah, man. Stan, we'll start with you, man. Do you remember anything from your time as going to the championship game?
Well, I mean, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about me because I got 3 first dynasty in the league. First dynasty in the league. But the first time I won was like the first year I think a lot of us played. I don't even know what made Scotty decide to do a fantasy league, but I was like, man, I'll jump in it. Why not?
And let me interrupt you real quick. Sorry. That year we had 16 teams.
Yeah, and it was a crazy big league. I think it was like
16, and we had
4 receivers or something.
We had 2 defenses.
Yeah,
2 kickers.
It was crazy huge.
I don't think you did quarterbacks. Did you do quarterbacks that year?
Yeah. We was there was only one spot that you started, but everybody drafted 2 kickers and 2 defenses. So there was
nobody started 2 defenses.
Yeah, it was 2 defense starters. There was everything was double. Mm-hmm. So there was 4 receivers. There was 3 running backs, I believe.
There was super flex with the extra flex.
Yeah. So you could start 2 defenses.
Yeah.
You started 2 defenses back then?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I just know everybody drafted 2 defenses and 2 kickers.
You could start 2 defenses.
Well, we're going to have to go back on his one. I ain't never seen
pick up.
Yeah.
You didn't need it.
Right. Sorry, bro. Go ahead.
But speaking of super flex, I had RG3 back when he was having an amazing year. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Redskins, Commanders, whatever
2012. That was Redskins.
And 2012. Cam Newton, them 2 dudes led the squad. That's when I found out it was good to have a quarterback that could score, run and throw passes. And Superman got me right. Okay. Are we still on me, or are we going to Vinny's year and then coming back to me? This is the type of arrogance that got me to where I was. Once I found out how to win, you couldn't tell me nothing. And Scotty knows, I had the waiver wire thing. I would wait until like somebody got hurt, and then I would make a pickup. Like everybody else was making moves like crazy, but I was like, these dudes, I don't even need them right now. Until somebody went down, I picked somebody up. We just kept that thing moving.
You said something I want to ask you about. You said that's when you found out about having a dual threat quarterback. So is that something that you try to go for every single year? You try to go for a dual threat quarterback?
For the most part, yes. Because it's like I want somebody that can give me options. Like, with Josh Allen, what that's like.
Right.
Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes. Like, dudes get you points.
Gotcha.
And a solid defense. For the longest, now that I'm thinking about this, Jacksonville, they had a real defense for the longest. And I remember Buffalo's defense when they were like just coming up. I would always try to pick them up and stash them away. Receivers and running backs, I was never really like a top 6 pick. The one time I had David Johnson. That was the year he just stunk it up. That was after the back-to-back, which, well, I guess I'll go into that now since I'm still talking. That third year, after you win the back-to-back, I've never seen it done. I've seen people try. Like, just, there's no wind in your sails after you win 2. You win 1, and then, like, that next year, you like, okay, I still got a chance. I'll be honest, that was luck. That was probably a little bit of luck.
I'll say all of this luck.
But that third year, I had nothing left.
Yeah, you can tell Stan nothing after that.
So after I won back-to-back, I was, I remember it. I was riding down the street to E40's. Y'all can't F with me. I won't curse because we're on YouTube. But I was like on the east side, just swerving through the lanes like they do in Texas. just feeling myself. And I think that's when I changed from the Bird Gang to the Mob, because like Floyd Mayweather, you know how he used to go by Pretty Boy? And he started going by Money. So I changed it from Bird Gang to Money Gang, or the name is Money Gang or Bird Gang. I go by either one. I'm still that dude. That's how you get the mob.
That's when you got jersey made.
Yeah, I got a personalized jersey. The Seahawks were doing good at that point, so like, I was just on cloud 9.
Okay. Vinny, man, what about you, man?
I was doing winter stuff when I was a winner, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty, no, I'm just playing, but like, if y'all know, I don't know if you want to call it the Ricky rule or the Vinny rule, but we got the rule change because of me, because Icky Ricky, he had the almighty Kansas City Chiefs offense who was just dominating every single year. He had, like, I think Jamal Charles was the best running back in the league that year.
Yeah, Jamal Charles.
Well, at least fantasy-wise, he's the best running back in the league.
Right.
And our championship was on week 17. And Andy Reid likes to rest his players week 17. Right. And so Icky Ricky didn't have Jamal Charles, and so his team was in shambles. I don't think his team put up that many points because I think he had somebody else from the Chiefs too, and they were all rested. And so your boy,
hey. You had Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, Peyton Manning, they rested too, right? Yeah.
So he played most of the half, but then he finally sat out second half.
Hey man, hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. You know what I'm saying? You give me that opportunity, I'm gonna take it. And I had T.Y. Hilton and Andre Johnson. That's when Andre Johnson was a PPR machine, so he was getting, and then, that's young AR-12, so my team was pretty solid going into that championship. I don't know if that's the year I had Doug Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, that year was crazy.
But yeah, I know Leon, he hates when I
think that was the next year.
Yeah, Leon hates when I bring up that man, but
yeah.
But yeah, so it was like, for me, it was a mixture of luck, which, that's what you need to have in order to win this league, is you need to have a little bit of luck on your side, and you need to just have you got to go in with the mindset, like, this is my team, and I'm going to play them. Because, like, when you start doing all that tinkering, and you start like, you know what? If I do this by the angle, the Kansas City Chiefs, that corner, he always gets burnt once a game, every 2 weeks. Then that's when you start messing up your team, and then you start putting people in that shouldn't be in. And I did that I remember I did that when I had the receiver from James Jones. I was going into championship week, 2 weeks. He scored about 40 points, and I sat him on my bench because I was like, they're going against a good a good corner defense. That boy had 3 touchdowns. I said, man, you don't never doubt AR-12 and what he do with his number 1 receiver. So it's like, man, sometimes you just gotta strap your boots up and just do you, man.
Standing.
Yeah.
Okay. Scotty, Mr. UTB himself.
Man, like I said, man, it's luck in a way. Just because I've been in the championship game where I had a whole bunch of injuries, where I literally had to start your guys' wide receiver. What's his name? Like Matt White or something like that.
Yeah, Kevin White.
Yeah, I had to go on the championship game starting Kevin White. I had no quarterback. I forget who I had to start. I forget. I don't know if it was Clipboard Jesus or not, but it was that somebody was a backup to a backup that I had to start in the championship game. And then I'm not gonna lie, like when JT came to the league and he started making more picks, trades for like players and stuff like that, using picks to trade for players, then it just opened my eyes and I said, "Hey, Los, let me get this boy Zeke off you," because my team's always been solid, but then it's just like that one injury bug when I get into the playoffs always hurt me.
Right.
And then I just be like one little piece off. So every single year for like 3 years straight, I traded for Ezekiel Elliott for Los. Like, hey, I got this first, dog.
4 years, dude.
You know nobody's gonna make a good offer like your boy's gonna make you, dog. Just come to my office real quick, man. And then that was the year after Vinny had won it. I just took AR-12. I said, let me see what he could do for me. And then I had that boy Kirk Cousins. I think he was still with the Redskins his last year with the Redskins contract year. Yeah, and the Redskins didn't sign him before he went to Minnesota. And so that boy was just balling out. And then I had Gronk as well. And then that's when I got Zeke from Los, and that kind of like solidified my team right there. And yeah, man, like honestly, when you're in that championship game, man, it's not usually a blowout, man. It's usually gonna be a nail biter, man.
Yeah,
just to let you know, it's like all the championship games I've been in, like whether it's my other league where like Stan said I did back to back, went for that 3-peat. I even got back to the championship game and still lost it. You know what I mean? It's all man. So. You know what I'm saying? Just tell your family, leave you alone. If you make it to the championship game, you know what I'm saying? And go into your little, if you ain't got a man cave, just go in your bedroom and chill, man, for the whole day, man. Because, yeah, it's active.
Well, how did you feel? So you won, what, 2016, 17?
Something like that.
It was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so how did it feel being, 4 years in, going on 5th year? How did it feel finally winning your league, you know what I'm saying?
It felt good because that's when the Xbox One came out, so I won that league. I won the Homie Dad's league, so that's how I was able to get my Xbox One from Leon. So it's like, man, honestly, man, because the champion does win majority, pretty much everything, $900. I'm like, man, it's like, man, did I just get paid today? Like, it's almost like a paycheck in a way, you know what I mean? That's tax free, you know what I mean? So it feels good, and then, you know, we got the little glow that goes at Stan's house, and then now the belt, and a little other things that you get the little ring now, so it just felt good, you know, just get that little piece of jewelry that you could just rock around with and stuff like that to next year's draft and have that bragging rights. But like Stan said, it's hard though. The next year after that, it's like, man, everybody's gunning for you. Nobody want to make trades with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a jealousy thing out there, man. It's like you're a lone wolf now.
Okay. And we got Mr. Cartel himself coming in. 1-2 years and winning it all. Putting your name on there. What was you? It was
JT Cannabis.
JT Cannabis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, went through a name change and everything. But you're in a position right now where you was in 11th place for the last 8-9 weeks or so. And actually, yeah. And then
like that,
you made some trades. You did some things. You got Jamar Chase. Got CMC, which I know he did you dirty last year, but you had faith in him still to this year.
I did.
And now you're in a position, you're in the playoffs right now as it stands.
Yeah, as it stands.
So
when am I in?
Yeah. But let's go back to your championship year. Take us through that, man.
I think that was 17. He won 16. I think it was my first year in. I think it was 17. Something like that. And shit. I don't remember too much, man. I just remember, you know what I mean, I made a trade with I don't remember who it was though. I made a trade, I sent him the player, Shit, I kept going down that thing and said draft picks. I said, this shit remind me like a man. I didn't even know we could do that. So I put the draft pick in there and shit, he accepted that thing. He's been on ever since. You know what I mean?
First time ever at a trade with a draft pick.
Yeah, first one.
So I, I brought that and shit. Since that been in here, this shit's been crazy, man. There's no clear favorite. You know what I'm saying? Every year. Yeah. But I remember though making that run, man. I was like, damn, my squad's kind of lit. You know what I mean? But I don't think I gave up like top draft picks that year. I think I was giving like my mid to bottom draft picks and getting some boys with it. So I take that approach almost every year.
Not this year. You gave up everything.
Oh yeah, I'm saying, but I'm willing to give up them picks if there's somebody out there that I like.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like this year, shit. Boy, next year. Shit.
Do it again.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah,
I think we looking at like maybe the 4th round at first pick up. And I think everybody got a grasp of how they want to do this now. You know what I mean? I mean, there's always some like wows, but everybody got their own little scheme of how they want to do things. And this year may not work, but shit been working. You know what I mean? Like this man right here, Scotty, like he took over the trade game.
It's like what's the Pokemon? What the Pokemon do? They evolve. So we started off as a Pikachu. That dude Scotty.
Wow. But yeah, it's for real though. This is a dope league, and I put it in our group chat like this is the tightest playoff race thing I ever been a part of. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like 5-6 teams, you know what I'm saying, win and changes everything in position as far as who's in, who's out. This is real. This is real.
Yeah. Points, coming out all that stuff. When you won, like I said, you came in first year, you was okay. Second year, you found out we can do the trades and stuff like that. So okay, we're gonna do this thing. Have you won a fantasy football championship before that, or was this your first one in UTB?
This was my first one.
Okay.
UTB, and man, ever since I got a taste of that, man, come on, man. You know what I mean? They got the rings, they got the trophy. Now we got a belt that I can't stop looking at. Like I want all that. You know what I mean? I want all that. Like that's for real, man. This is dope. This is a dope thing to be a part of, and man, I'm coming.
I think when we did the live draft, I think that's what kind of took it up to that next level too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it made all of us kind of bond a little bit more, and we got them three, Scotty, Vinny, and Ricky in the corner. So I'm like, hey y'all, just they laughing, all kind of stuff over there. We're like, what are they talking about? Can I get that player?
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
Last year. Okay, let's take us through the curves, through the grinding, through it all, man. Okay, to what we are here today.
I say I feel like Birdman. But let's start off with the one thing that I wanted to talk about was that we do have every era changes things. Every champ that comes through and it changes something, and you start looking and you're like, man, what's this guy doing? Like for instance, Stan with the holding the number 1 waiver wire, and then you're like, oh man, what's Stan going to pick up? Because he always picks up that nasty pickup that puts him over the top and wins him that championship. So there's always something that you take from that champ and you try to incorporate it into your game, like JT was talking about, and it evolves. And you can tell with I feel you can tell with GMs who's going to win, who's a good GM, and who's trash. And you can kind of see it doesn't matter what your picks are, they're still trash. So I think that's part of the problem. The reason why we don't care about these picks because they're still gonna, do trash stuff. So, so that's one of the things that I actually like and start watching and see what other people do. using your number one waiver wire, or trying to hide people, or get people for trades, trade your picks. There's a whole bunch of different strategies. What you like, how you build your team. I kind of watch people do that stuff. So that's one of the pleasures that I like in this league, is because there's way more different ways to win in this league, instead of, I got the top quarterback, and then like this other league that we're in, you have a top quarterback, you're pretty much going to be making the playoffs. It doesn't matter what your rest of the roster is doing, because they're the highest scoring team. Here you can have a tight end win you some weeks, a wide receiver win you some weeks, even a kicker win you some weeks. Exactly, defense. I mean, that's what I like, is that you don't have to have that top quarterback or wide receiver, and like for instance, somebody had I can't remember who it was, had a high score of the week, and they still lost. In the other league, that's a guaranteed win. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things I do like about it, is the way the combinations that we have. So going into the struggle game, I guess you would say, I don't believe in no curse. It was no curse. It was curse.
You got the QB curse. Hey, who Leon drafted first?
I touched Leon. What did I give him down?
That was that make believe stuff that y'all do. But I tell you one thing that developed the strategy that I came in and employed. Like for instance, y'all talk about at the draft that I drafted too many quarterbacks. I mean, it is what it is. But I was struggling. But that's part of the mindset that I had because of quote unquote the curse. Mm-hmm. So if new to the league or whatever, is that most of the time if I drafted somebody in the number one pick, they got hurt.
That's why we didn't pick You got Adrian Peterson. Dang, I got the number one pick in this league. I don't want AP, dog. They're like, you don't want him? I said, nah, leave the guy.
So it happened multiple years. Other than my first year, but that was a different team name. But ever since then, it's been, somebody getting hurt for 4 or 5 games at the end or in the middle. It doesn't really make any difference. Or ended for the year. Last year I had that boy from Jacksonville, the running back.
James Robinson?
No, Etienne, Travis Etienne. He got hurt in the preseason, and that boy's getting nasty now. So I mean that it just goes to show that every single year it was bad for me. So that's why it doesn't work. That's why it's easy for me when y'all start trading these picks. First pound pick doesn't matter to me because I learned how to win without it, and so. It's a different mindset that everybody goes through, and that's how I feel about it. Is it's like even the championship year, I pulled one of the stands move, and I sit and watch the waiver wire, and I end up picking that boy up, Patterson from the Atlanta Falcons, and he got nasty for me. He wrote me, he led me to the championship, except he ended up getting hurt, and then Atlanta Falcons end up doing some crazy stuff like sitting them and all that. But Ricky hooked me up and sent me some players, and that put me over that top. But I was already making the playoffs anyways. That just pushed me to that next level.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. He went through 2 previous champions. Yeah, he earned it.
Yeah,
I get my first for Devontae. He get a second.
But I feel that most of the time the leading, the number one seed person in this league doesn't win it. It's always that the Giants, I'm barely making the playoffs, or I'm fifth seed, and then you win it because you're hungry. When you're first round, first seed, you're I'm gonna just keep doing the same thing. You don't add, you don't look to your waiver wire, you don't continue to build, you don't look for trades. That's the stuff that Marcus and JT put in there, is that, hey, my team is stacked, but it just needs a little bit more. a little bit more spice to it. So that's how I feel that what they add, and that's why I say before, I'm not going to mention teams, but those teams are trash.
Man, that's what the podcast is for.
Say what's on your mind.
No, I mean, I offer people teams. Like, for instance, I was blowing my team earlier. I don't want to talk about stuff that happened in the past about not trades being vetoed. And I don't want to talk about that, but that that's a deep subject. We're gonna need another episode for that. But I'm not. We ain't gonna go on that. That's gonna be all about vetoes and stuff like that. That's just gonna be too much. But if they would have took that trade, then their team would have been nasty right now. I mean, it is what it is.
The Phantom trade. Did anybody in here veto that trade? No. I didn't. So I can't tell you who did.
That's the rule. That's the rule of the league. You don't veto it. You just let it happen.
Mm-hmm. Unless somebody asks, like Shenika did when she sent the text.
Well, I was hot that week too because I didn't get no Shenika text about no veto. And so I was ready for a podcast, but y'all didn't have the podcast. I was going to take off work. I was coming down here. I was fired up. We were going to have a veto talk trade segment only. That was going to be the whole episode, 2-episode special. That's what we were going to have. But I had notes. I was telling people at work. I was hot that week. I was ready.
You still got the notes?
It's at the house. Oh. Yeah. I was like I said, I was ready. I mean, because I was hot. I was about to, like I told Marcus, that's why he kept saying save it for the podcast and the text. I was calling this dude.
Yeah, only person that vetoed that trade was probably Fat Boy because when you sent it to him again, he said, and
that's why I wasn't sure. I was with y'all that it just something weird happened, and then I was like, let me send this again, and he vetoed, and I was like, yep. That's a veto. That's a veto.
He said, I'm sold.
The only thing I would say that was different about that is it wasn't in the transaction.
It wasn't in the transaction, yeah.
So it's like, I was like,
yeah, because I was talking to Ricky that morning, and I was like, yeah, that dude Leon just got nasty real quick. This dude got 3 first-round draft picks and da-da-da. Right. And it was like, oh, now let's see who Fat Boy got on his squad because, we was looking at them. Hold up. What happened to this trade? Yeah. And I said, this dude Leon's about to call me. So I heard my phone vibrate, and I said, hey, dog, I hit you back. This is Leon calling. He said, what are you guys doing? I'm like, dude, I just found out myself.
Yeah, I got off work and because I can't have my phone on me at work, and so I come back and I look and I'm like, okay, because we have 2 days, and I look and I'm like, what's going on here? I still got these players on my team. Go ahead.
I'm confused. So you need 4 to veto it, right?
It's like 4 or 5. It's not majority, and that's why I was always hot about that veto. Yeah. It's like, you get like a little bit of people, and and they veto. So, and that's why it's like it's not even half the league. You don't need half the league.
It's like 4 or 5 people you need to veto. 5 people.
Hold on, we're gonna change. That should be
we were having battles on text about the whole veto stuff. So I thought this stuff was starting back up again. So I was bringing my old ammunition. But that's only part of it. The other 2 is like, I think it was week. This was like a week before Los sold it. I don't know what your team name is now, but
See the Vision.
Yeah, See the Vision. I was trying to sell again because I lost to 49er gang, and I was like, okay, because earlier that week I was trying to hit you up to get your team. Yeah. Because I was asking for Josh Allen for all this week, because that's what all this year, because I was looking for somebody to upgrade, because I know I needed something extra on my team, and so I sent trades to 3 people, and that's why I know that they're trash.
Who's the 3 people?
Yeah, call them out.
Well, you don't want to put business out there.
It don't matter. You call them.
We've been doing it all year, bro.
You call them who bad he is. We need to know who these players are.
You didn't see Stan and Fat Boy?
Yeah, but they already had beef out there. I still need to do business with these people.
I like him as a person, just not as a GM.
I just put my team out there and say, hey, man, offer something out there. Your team can get better, and
You're messing up our ratings right now, man.
You holding the podcast back, man.
Hard hitting. That's what UTB is about.
All right, well, if y'all want to do it that way,
we saying it.
Throw them under the bus.
Let me get my phone out, but I definitely threw a couple of trades out there. I know one of them was to your boy Dane's team. That was one of them.
Oh, yeah,
I knew I threw some stuff out there for him, and then I threw some stuff out there for Shenika's team. I threw one out for them, and then
Los is the only one to break that mold.
Yeah.
Los is the only one to get a trade done with them.
Yeah,
he was begging like he said, Shenika, look at my trade.
I want to go back to that because I listened back. I don't like how you said I was begging. I was just trying to get my value, right?
He said, open your trade.
I just threw it out there like, hey, just look at it. You know what I'm saying? Just look at it.
He calls that being a salesman. I see that being a salesman out there.
Yeah.
You know, he's.
I knew it was the only person that would have the first pick left for him, so I'm like, man, he'll be back. And then he sends that text out, and then he says, accept it. I was like, what? But it's all good, though.
You talk about begging for trades. Okay, maybe he was begging. Maybe.
Wasn't begging.
This guy, Scotty, somebody will send a message. This dude will copy and paste it.
I got that from JT, bro.
And say, bro, I changed a few words in the message. We're not saying the same thing. He said, I might have somebody for you. I do have somebody for you.
Yeah, I might have somebody. I do, definitely.
I know this man, he taking my shit. Look, man, that shit work. You know.
Single white female.
Hey, I was peeping game, baby. Like Leon said, observing the field, man. I was peeping game.
Soaking that knowledge.
It's a beautiful thing.
JT say something, somebody says something, JT says the same exact thing. The only thing is, I'm like McDowell, baby. I changed it a little bit, you know what I mean? I changed it a little bit in mine. It ain't a direct copy and paste.
He said, my button don't have sesame seeds.
You know? We put our toppings at the bottom.
I was about to say, didn't Ricky do that too? Didn't he pick that up?
Anybody picked it up, man.
I tell you, man, I just did it just to do it now.
It adapts quick. The league adapts quick.
You mess around and put that trade offer in that group chat. I'm in the DM.
He texted DM.
Now I know it's cool to text y'all too.
It's funny though, because
I got individual numbers.
Exactly.
Hey, man, let's take this offline.
he used to say that where it would be in a group chat and he'll come out nowhere like, but I was just talking to you like to somebody.
For real. Like, man, I don't want to say nothing in the group chat, man. But what's up, bro? But do you have any more else to say, Leon?
No, I was just saying that I noticed that everybody doesn't have the same vision, and I'm not saying that they're well. There's a couple of trash managers here, but I'm not saying the people I was in. Huh?
Who are they?
Rip the Band-Aids, man.
It's you know, I mean, in my eyes. In my eyes, I believe Shenika's team is a trash manager. I believe, I mean, even though he hooked me up, I still believe Dean's team is a trash manager. Ricky is borderline.
This is an AR-15.
You can't get that button on there.
And Los is obviously, I mean, he's a, I wouldn't say trash, but he's borderline.
I knew it was coming.
So I wasn't gonna get into that, but you know, y'all
Get into it.
Let's go.
My thing with the text that I sent, I don't remember exactly the words I was saying. Is like, Los is here supposedly soaking up this knowledge, and he's sitting there selling his team like Marcus and JT would be doing out there, being a salesman out there when they know that, hey, I need to do something. So they're out there selling, they're knocking doors like the Jehovah's Witnesses out here. And that's what he was doing that week. I mean, Marcus talked about begging. He wasn't begging, he was a salesman. I mean, he was out there, you know, hey man, I got 2 cheeseburgers for you. and he was doing it about the wrong way. I believe that personally he should have been buying instead of selling. But I mean, if he would have done that a couple of weeks ago, instead of, I mean, obviously that Travis Kelce move was nasty, but I mean, that didn't really, in my eyes, that didn't really address a lot of the needs that he had. And I mean, that's what I mean. But before, it was about these champs over here. They got the vision to say, hey, man, you know, my team needs this instead, a little pepper instead of, and he had a little salt in there. And now it's like, I need to spit that out. And that's what he did. He ended up spitting it out and trying to hopefully for next year. But I learned that from my previous curse, quote unquote, that you can't be waiting for next year. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes you just have to go for it. I mean, if you see a hole, you have to hit it. I mean, and you could be like y'all can be like me next year. You got the nasty team. I mean, I remember I can't remember the team, but I had Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller, and they were killing everybody. And then the first, because I had the bye. I was the best team in the league, and that Saturday, Watson and Will Fuller put up like 8 points together as a quarterback. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm still hot about that. So you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, your first round pick could be Christian McCaffrey 2 years ago. And I'm sorry. and yeah.
So hold on. On that note, we gotta talk about that because I remember this dude had Christian McCaffrey. He could have traded him for a first round pick to Leon. Leon offered him a first rounder for him, and he was like, "I think I'm gonna keep him." I said, "Why, JT? You haven't been having him the whole year." He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep him." That boy didn't play for the rest of the season. I said, bro, I was like, man, sometimes you just got to see the rainbow and say, hey, man, let me follow the pot of gold. Mm-hmm. Don't be staying on that other side. But, you know, it's tough sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, that's one of the things, like I said, I don't want to bring it up, but I mean, that's why I said Ricky is borderline. I mean, I sent him a trade for Russell Wilson. And, I mean, obviously you see what Russell Wilson's doing, but, yeah. I mean, he saved me.
Yeah.
And I thank him for that. I mean, he saved me multiple times. And so I appreciate him. He's like an assistant out there, you know, secretary. So I'm happy, but.
Well, I want to address, since I'm right here in front of you. Go ahead, Stan.
Go ahead.
I want to address you calling me borderline trash, which I'll take it. You know, it's your opinion. Or whatnot, but I feel, and I'll repeat it again, I feel like with the way my team was heading, I didn't feel confident that they could take me to beat Scotty, to beat what's his name, Big Phil, and things like that. And it's kind of showing because Garoppolo's out now, Saquon got a neck injury. Last 2 weeks, Josh Allen ain't really put up those points like I think last week he had like 35, but the week before he only had like 13 or something like that. So, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I went back and checked all my numbers and stuff, and I still would have got two more losses against the people I played against. So, in my eyes, I still feel like I did good, especially with Garoppolo going out last week. I was just like, all right, cool, because I gave up a third rounder for freaking waiver wire pickup. So, I understand you. I have been in the depths. You know what I'm saying, for the whole damn time since the first year. But I don't know. I just want to defend myself a little bit while I'm sitting right in front of you.
I understand what you mean. But some of those losses, you can say what you will. I understand. But you still would have made the playoffs this year, even with those losses that you're talking about, because when you're basically, now you're like third in scoring, but you lost, 3 weeks after you sold your team. Mm-hmm. But what I'm talking about is previously you didn't see what your team needed, and so you just, in my eyes, you sat, say pat, instead of going after what you could build with your team. That's what I mean. I don't begrudge you about selling your team. I mean, you feel what you feel, but you don't know what your team was going to do in the playoffs. And that's when you're the number one seed, that's why I say it's borderline, because you definitely could have raised your team. I mean, you were the favorite, going away favorite, and so that's why I say it's borderline as your decision making of what you could have done. But I mean, like I said, I guess is nitpicking in my eyes, but it is what it is.
That's your opinion, dog.
I'll be honest about that. I was gonna say something else, but it was the second time you traded Scotty for Zeke Elliott. I called you. I was hot on that one. I'm like, bro, why do you keep giving this man a running back? Like, it didn't work last year. Why are you doing it again? I was hot. With Ricky, same thing. I called him too after he made the trade with Scotty. I'm feeling like Vinny right now. Because, like, dudes are just giving you, like, gifts.
Yeah, I feel like...
That was a gift, man. I'm working for these, baby.
I feel like Ricky's trade was... that was probably the worst trade that I've seen. Just because how early it was.
We were like 2 weeks into the season.
This is... I was like, dude, you have two of the best running backs. I said, of course Scotty's going to offer you the first and second round pick. He's getting the two best quarterbacks in the league, and you're going to trade him to us?
Oh.
No
and
way.
then he played him that next week.
And smashed Ricky out with his own players.
Those dudes wasn't doing anything, man. You know what I'm saying?
And like, that's the thing.
Just watched him score.
And that's the thing. That's what Leon's saying. It's like people are just giving up their teams because they ain't really paying attention to the league. It's like, man, it's the beginning of the season. Like, you gotta let offenses are usually behind the defenses in the beginning of the season just because of chemistry and all that stuff like that. If you're a smart GM, you would know that stuff, and you hold on to those players and see actually when to give them up. Because if you when you wait until mid-season, you can actually see if they trash, or you can see if they're, they're starting to play. They're starting to play now. Instead of trading your season at the beginning of the season, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to get the first round pick. Basically, that's basically what you're playing for now.
This league
First and second round.
This league just like the NFL type shit. You know what I mean, it's a copycat league, man. So when somebody see, oh, he's sending me a first, or a first and a second, or a second, they hopping on him just because it's a first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is next year though. You still got this year to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So.
Especially
just
that
because
early.
You see that first in your box, man, don't mean you have to accept.
It does when it comes from me, baby. It's good value. It's good value.
That's what it is, though.
Look at Devontae Smith, man. Y'all was laughing at that.
It's
Yeah.
your first, but you might win. So really, it's a second.
Yeah.
But now they get the back-to-back. But they get that back-to-back, that quick turnaround, and some people value that.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man.
When you get a trade offer from Let's Make a Deal, man, it's a good trade, man.
When you get a trade offer from
look
Let's Make a
at
Deal.
Devontae Smith right now compared to Travis Etienne. Everybody like, oh, Travis Etienne is. Look at Devontae Smith, man. He's getting money out there, man.
We don't care
Getting
about
money.
We care about that.
But that was the worst offer that you were offering people. You were
What?
I'm talking about as far as trade picks. You was just offering for like a fourth, a first and second. If this dude's coming for your first and second, or he's offering you a first and second, that means he sees something. That means put the kids away, bro. Don't trade that man.
So hide your kids, hide your wife.
Exactly.
But I wanna push back a little bit on what JT said though, is that the problem I have with some of the GMs, and that's why I say what I was talking about, like borderline stuff, is that some of the GMs, like if you're losing and you're like, oh, I'm gonna sell my team, why are you still asking for stuff for this year when you're asking for my first and second?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should not care who you're getting back if you're getting these picks.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh man, I need, like for instance, my trade with Dean's team. I mean, I was desperate. Don't get me wrong. I messed up on the trade. I was like, I need to hurry up and get something. So he got me on the trade. But I'm like, why would you need not T Higgins? Who was that? The wide receiver that I gave up?
Wow.
No, I gave up. I gave him
Tyler Boyd?
Yeah, Boyd. And I'm like, why would you need Boyd when I'm giving you a first and second? You shouldn't be playing for this year. If you're playing for this year, you should add instead of.
Well,
See,
because
you don't deal with that because we got the new addition. to this
we got
year
the consolation where you can win the first pick.
where you can play for that first.
So
pick.
people are trying to
People are still trying to
keep
play.
their team somewhat relevant.
So
okay.
last 13th and 14th place, they're automatically 3rd and 4th place, and then whoever was it 7 to 12, they play for consolation bracket. Whoever wins that wins the first pick overall.
Oh, okay.
First and second.
First and second overall. Yeah.
I got you.
So that's the only difference. Any other time, what you say?
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, just
okay.
give me trash players or give me hurt players.
Yeah.
Which I think is ill that we put that new addition.
Because it keeps it competitive.
Yeah, it keeps you playing all year.
Yeah.
And it keeps us to where you don't do that. Oh, here's my injured players. Give me your player. Here's my injured player. You know what I'm saying?
Every year, man, we just keep adding and shit. It's making the league better and better, man. So
I don't think you ever answered how you felt about winning after going so long in the league without success. How did you feel finally reaching that mountaintop?
It was for me relief. Like, I mean, I struggled throughout the league. That was actually my first championship, only championship. I never won in any other league. I only played in one other league, other than UTB. So it was relief because I was getting my head bashed in. I mean, if you look at the records, I've only had one losing season in UTB. All the other seasons, I made it to the playoff. I was always bounced in the first round for whatever reason. I think my best team was my first team in the league was I can't remember the team's name, but
Aaron Foster though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so it was super relief. I didn't believe it. I mean, it took a couple hours before I was like, man, I actually won this because it was a high scoring event that I had, and so I was super relieved. I was texting my dad and Marcus, and I mean, lucky we had this podcast. I mean, I was feeling myself on that one. I mean, I was sitting. I put a new picture up on the dominoes. We play dominoes online. And I put a new picture up. I changed everything.
Ain't that what fantasy is supposed to be about?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was sitting in.
I said that arrogance you get after winning, like you can't explain that to anybody that hasn't won.
And you know what's crazy is like I had the same thing. I remember when I was playing when I won the championship. The next day, the Colts were in the playoffs, and T.Y. Hilton had caught a 50-yard bomb. And I was like, man, why didn't T.Y. Hilton do that for me in the playoffs? And I remember that I won, but it's like you still have that like mindset, like, bro, you should have did that for me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't believe it until you like actually get all the. You're like, oh dang, I just won this league. Yeah, T.Y. Hilton did do that for me, so it's crazy.
Do y'all remember where you were when you like looking when you were at home? Was it a Monday night game that finished it off for you? Like.
I was actually at home with COVID because it was snowing that January. So I was at home with COVID, so I didn't have nobody around. I think Daddy was visiting, but he was out at the casino.
Of course,
COVID.
So I won.
The flu game.
Can't breathe. Flu game.
Exactly.
What about you, Stan?
Ooh.
Any of the times you won?
I don't remember if we were going to Hooters back in those times.
Mm-hmm.
I could have been at Hooters one time, and then the other times I think I was just at the house because like I can't remember which one of y'all said it, but sometimes you just don't want to be around anybody. You're just you and your phone and watching the TV. Like, man, I'm so close to winning this, and then you do it and like you just. Like, you don't even care about the playoffs in real life or nothing. You like, I did my job. I won.
Right.
I can relax. Don't have to try to pick up anybody in the waiver wire. Don't have to worry about somebody else having a great night against me.
Facts.
What
I
you
feel
say?
like the playoffs is stressful.
I think I was just at the crib chilling. I know I pulled me one though. Afterwards, you know, I feel like Jordan in the locker room. Man. I ain't gonna over exaggerate. Said I'll sit in the shower or something like that, or anything like that. But I did, you know what I'm saying? As Leon said, let's go, you know. And then at the end of the day, because I had won, like when I won this one, I had won my other league, so I started counting my money. I'm like, hey, this how much money's coming in. I'm like, oh my goodness, 900 from this league, 600 from the other league.
Allegedly.
You know? Yeah. I just allegedly started counting my stuff. You know, know.
Hypothetically speaking.
You know, I was like, man, get this.
UTB bucks.
Yeah. You know, and then after that, I bought my Xbox with my UTB bus. And,
You do got a store.
you know, look how far there's merchandise coming out online. You know, and then after that, it was just like, okay.
I tell you
But
what.
yeah,
I'm gonna say I tell you one thing though. That's what shaped this year for me, and that's why I kept going. Is because I'm trying to get that repeat, like Stan. Because I mean, Stan, he's like the Packers out there. He has that legendary franchise.
mm-hmm.
We've been running it forever. I mean, he shaped this this league by the stuff that he was doing. I'm not 49er gang saying that he's trash. He's not. I mean, he's out there handling every single year. I mean, only decision that I hold against Stan was that when we quit for 3 years. I mean, that was ridiculous. But other than that,
Are you really gonna hold that against me?
yes.
Yeah, Michael Turner.
That was
Brandon Lloyd.
the NFL was going through some things with Colin Kaepernick.
What's that got to do with you?
I was like, I'm not watching this nonsense. Like even now, like we're talking about trash individuals.
Mm-hmm.
There's some quarterbacks that are probably worse than Cam Newton in the league, and it's like my boy can't get a chance, just one chance.
Then you look at Baker Mayfield, goes for 3 teams in 1 year.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean he had a good game that last game,
But he's got to start. He got to start after 1 day of practice.
Who else was there in the quarterback room?
With Perkins, that's why I started him, and then he didn't play at all.
Who else was there? The quarterback that's been their backup for like the whole season.
I think I came back right after he got the settlement. And it's like there was something missing because we had been doing it for like 4 or 5 years at that point. And it's like now it's just, not to get all sentimental and stuff, but being around all y'all fools, like people that you are around a lot.
like
This dude I talk
family,
to all the time. And it's like when you beat everybody, like everybody in the room has to look at you.
Mm-hmm.
You're that center of attention. When somebody else wins, now I'm looking at him like, man, Leon's all right, but I'm a better GM, and I gotta go prove it that next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think that's what's so dope about this league. It's like everybody is coveting, like like some leagues it's just like, oh, it's fun, people don't really pay attention to it, but like in this league, everybody wants that championship, like bad, like people are like fiending for it, so they're doing like crazy trades and everything to like kind of like try to extend your league next year, but it's like everybody wants that championship.
want a seat at the table.
Yeah,
we got rivalries out there.
6th round.
There's the bragging rights against the homie.
Yeah,
bragging rights against co-workers or what I'm saying, people
Right.
all over. It's like these are my everyday people.
Yeah, it's like I ain't even know you before this. Now you down here in the league. Dudes doing turkey bowls today.
Saturday morning hoops.
Yeah.
I walk in the gym, I see JT. I'm like, what's up?
It's a beautiful thing.
He lives down here now.
Exactly. We done really got him to the UTB.
I was making a trip, but it all started with Vinny, man. From the workplace. Shit.
Oh, that's how you got in?
Yeah, that's how I got in when we was vibing. You know what I'm saying? He got me off the couch. You know what I'm saying? I like, you get him always fuck around, be like, I'm fresh off the couch. Because he was doing this little weightlifting thing. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to get up in there with him, but you know what I'm saying? That's a little monster. Monster, man.
That's before he got Illinois problem.
I had like a personal trainer for like 2 weeks. I'm like, he started doing them squats. I'm like, oh, hell no, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't be doing no damn wall sits and shit. But started back then, and then we said the turkey bowls, and then the hooping, and just the birthday parties. You know what I mean? I said, y'all good click, man. So I'm gonna stay a part of this one. For real.
Vinny, take us through that champ when you won, that feeling of that night. Where was you at? Do you remember?
I honestly don't know. I feel like Scotty hit me up and was like, "You lucky Jamal Charles." And I think everybody was on the I didn't even get to enjoy mine really that well because everybody was like, "Man, this is a fluke," because his two starting players or his best players like got sat out, and I was like, "I don't care." I said, "The ring is mine." You know me. I don't really care if he would be saying. I do me out there, so. Like I said, when I remember the next day, I still was kind of mad because T.Y. Hilton got off in the playoffs that next week. And I was like, man, why didn't he play like that for me in the championship, even though I won? Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't think it really sat in for me until like close to the next year in the draft and when I got my ring. And I was like, yeah, your boy's a new champ, So.
JT?
Honestly, I was at the crib. I was doing what I do. You know what I mean? I was called the cannabis, JT Cannabis for a reason. I remember telling myself, man, when I get this thing, I'm gonna call it the cannabis cup. That's why I wanted to put the cannabis on there and shit, So, but I just remember, like, I was like, this is for real right here. Like, I'm in the championship. You know what I'm saying? I got a chance to win every game I saw because back then I was running with the NFL Pass, Direct TV. So I was on every game. You know what I mean? So, I was definitely in tune. I wasn't like sending out text messages to everybody, letting them know that this is mine or not. Like this year, you get body bag. Cartel, you get body bag. But 2017, my introduction year, second year, it was a beautiful feeling. And I've been chasing that feeling ever since.
It's a high, man. It's crack.
Really.
And I figured out like why we think somebody else won. Like majority of the rings are in this room, and then there's Corey and Silvis, and then one year was coronavirus because we didn't play.
Yeah, we didn't do it. Yeah, it's a tight knit group, man. Yeah. There's only a few, and like it's crazy because like I think there's only 10 of us, 12 of us that are like actual loyal that's been here for the entire whole time.
What is like Stan and Los took breaks, and then.
But there's two people that.
Yeah, then Debo, he just never came back.
Yeah, Debo left. Food Truck took a break too, didn't he?
That was the best story ever.
He didn't want to lose
Corey winning from that one and then not being in the league again.
Yeah, because that was Debo's work right there. And then he sold his team, and then dude came in, had like 15 picks in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And we're like, Debo, like, this was supposed to be your year, bro, and you gave your team to somebody else in North Carolina.
I feel like Debo, oh my goodness, Debo was like a mini version of Laz. This dude, all he did was pick Viking players up every single
and then be at the draft. Let's hurry up, man. Come on, man. Hurry up, bro. And then it'd be his turn. I'm like, bro, you knew this draft was coming, dog.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right, well, let's, excuse me, sorry. Let's get into these before we wrap up, players or the matchups of the week, because we got some tough matchups.
Before you start that,
what's
there's one thing that I do want to bring up since you said that we're almost at the end. We need to talk about this money.
Okay.
I don't, it's not about, me winning or losing or whatever, but money should be in before the league starts. And I believe it's not fair for the people that paid that money hasn't been in. And it's not an excuse, and it's week 14 that people haven't paid. When it was week 10, people still haven't paid, and that was like 5 people. So we need to start developing some rules on the people that haven't paid. Like, for instance, Davis' team, he hasn't paid, and if he wins the championship, I feel that he should get no money. But personally, we had a discussion, and so I think it's fair that he only get 50% if he still hasn't paid in and he wins the championship, and the rest can go to whatever we need to do in the league. But I wanted to throw that out there since we got we got the commissioners in here and we got the champs, so we can make this decision and put it in, since it's out there, as Marcus say, it'd be in writing. Mm-hmm. So what we hold, because I mean, think about it. That's $200 that he's supposed to be paying, and then there's a couple other people in here that should be paying for next year, because we already put that in the rule last year that if you trade your first, second, or third, you have to pay for that next year. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if we need to if you haven't paid for that next year's money, the commissioners will veto that trade. I don't know what we need to do, but we need to have a discussion about this money, because I think it's ridiculous that, like I said before, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's week 14. Like, you can pay $10, save up $10 a week, and still have more, almost double how much you're supposed to have been paying. So I'm not gonna just beat on David because it's just not him. It's a bunch of other people in there too. So I'll pass it on to y'all. Let y'all talk about how y'all feel and what we should be doing.
That's above my pay grade, so that's on y'all.
So
I don't know if y'all do it on the
originally, when I was talking to Scotty, I was telling him that we should have a deadline. At least half of it should be paid when we get to the draft, so that like people pay half of their money in the draft. You don't have to worry about paying a whole bunch. You only have $50 to play before the season ends or starts or whatever, you know. But we didn't get that out on time, you know, because some people don't like to go to the masses. He waits for me to make the announcements, but anyway, and like I agree, like for me, I would for me personally, I want to do, if you don't pay, we started the league 4 months early, and I told everybody, I was like, man, we have a payment plan. You can do $20 every month or every week until the draft, and you'll have your money paid. You just need 5 weeks. Mm. And I wanted to do, if you didn't have that, at least half of it paid by the draft, then we're gonna have to just replace you, bro. Like, because there's plenty of people that want to be in the league or whatnot. So it's getting $50 isn't hard to come up with, and I know how it feels when you're waiting at the end of the season when you win the championship and you don't get all your money. Nobody wants to, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be chased. And we're grown-ups. We don't want to be having to come into the phone. Scotty shouldn't have to announce it on the phone that, hey, y'all need to pay your bills. We're grown adults that have jobs. If you make a commitment to the league, then you should know that the commitment is $100 to be in the league. It's it's not that, you know what I'm saying? It's not that difficult. We're not asking for $500. So it's for me, it's people just need to be grown and handle their business, basically. But for me personally, I thought that we should pay before the draft, or you get replaced. But I don't know, that might be too dramatic.
But knowing now, what month is it? December?
Mm-hmm.
January, February, March, April, May, whatever. Now we know to maybe put a deadline 2 weeks before the draft. So then if somebody doesn't pay, we can give it, because it's you can replace people or find people, but then it's oh, you're in this league. By the way, can we get $100 by tomorrow?
Yeah.
And you're dude, I just found out I was in the league.
Yeah.
There's got to be some time period where we can give new people a chance to be oh, it's $100 if you want to join.
I'll just say, man, just pay your league fees before spring break.
For real, it's not hard.
Christmas is done, holidays is done. Mm-hmm. You might have birthdays, i.e. myself, so just pay it and we be good, man.
Or just start a payment plan we allow you to.
So what about this year though? What we're going through right now, because we still got 2 people. I know Marcus needed to figure out what's going on with that, and he still needs to figure out what's going on with that last year too. So I definitely still have $100, which is going to be for my fee for next year. So they're going to have to handle that. But we need to figure out what's going on this year if these people make it and win the championship. Because I don't think it's fair that they don't pay and they win the championship and they say, oh, here's my money right here. No, that's not happening.
Well, technically how things works, if you bet and you ain't paid, you bought in, you don't really win anything.
There ain't no championship.
Yeah.
So
that's how it normally usually is. If you're betting, and you never paid anything. You
so
just play some
basically,
bet.
you're gonna be paying for free.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be a championship in second place. If you paid, then hey, congratulations. The rest goes to the league. Yeah. Second place gets their $100 back, and then the rest goes to the next year.
I got some microphones I can buy with that. You know what I'm saying? So upgrade this shit.
So say something like that happened, right? And then you say you get half of that or whatever. Second place gets half of that. The other half, when you say go to the league, should that just be like in the pot? So next year, if you win the championship,
so
you get that remaining left over.
So basically, no.
Like
So like this is what will happen. So say David wins a championship and he hasn't paid, or Fat Boy wins a championship and he hasn't paid.
Yes, sir.
The second place, all they get is $100, right?
They get their money back.
You get your money back.
Okay.
That other $900 is going to pay that fee, going to pay those 2 fees, and then it's for UTB. Like Stan might have some stuff that he wants to buy for the league or whatever, and then whatever's left over, then we can put it for the next year.
Or we can have a better banquet or draft party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's for UTB. Thank you. You donated to the league, you know.
Yeah,
so
like let's say get some new equipment for the podcast.
And then that his league fees will be paid as well. So you know,
and for next year too, for that team. Because
exactly.
I mean, like that's a big deal. That why I'm making a big stink is because next year no picks.
Yeah.
1st to 7th, no picks. His first pick, I think, is like 8.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to want that team.
He's going to go through a whole bunch of heads.
Yeah.
So we call him.
And that's why I said, and that's why I feel like if you don't pay by Friday, you shouldn't get none. Even if, I'm in the championship, let me pay $100. No. None of that. That's how I feel. I'm hot about this, but
I see.
Good reason, I guess.
I mean,
I ain't gonna get all your money last week.
You still got money.
You should have a deadline saying like what? Halfway through the season, your fee gotta be paid. You know what I'm saying? That's what.
I mean, and I feel like we can make that generalization next year. Like halfway through the season, if you don't pay your fee, then if you make it to the championship, or you're just donating the money to the league
and your band.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about band.
It's cutthroat out here. Leon said, "This is Sparta."
Y'all get together and get a precise rule, and you know what I'm saying? The leaders of this thing get a precise rule and get it going.
And another thing that I want to address too is draft party. One thing we do need to do is do an advance announcement, because this is ridiculous that we have to be in control of your team on the draft party when you knew that draft day was that Sunday and you didn't show up. Yeah. And people talk about, I'm going to be there, and you ain't there. I'll have to work. Well, you should have took off. We had a month or so this year. We're going to do an advance day to say, hey, this is the day that we're going to be having it. And it's not going to be none of this, excuses. You're going to get the bottom of the barrel. You know.
And that's what I was trying to tell Scotty, because he gave Cortland Sutton away. But it's like, literally, I'm still hot about that. But we literally came up with a time. I put it in the thing. We voted for it. We adjusted it this way and that way so that people can come, and everybody still didn't show up. And so it's like, what am I wasting my time for doing that in the if you guys are not going to take the time off, or you vote for something this way and then still not want to come. It's like, why am I
just know next year is, I believe, going to be the week before Labor Day, just because Vinny's anniversary.
It was that way this year, right? The week before?
No, it was Labor Day week.
It was Labor Day week.
Because your anniversary's on the 3rd, right?
First,
yeah.
So September.
But it doesn't even have to be just the week before. I gave the option for the whole August. I was like, we have the whole month of August to do the draft.
For August 26th, y'all.
Yeah, I was like, do you guys want to do it then? Any votes?
August 26th, 2023, UTB draft.
Right?
Relax.
Take your days off right now. Right when you hear this podcast, take your days off. Plan a vacation. Plan something. Because this year, we give you all the worst players.
We may give you a kicker in the first. I mean, let's go.
So you want to talk vetoes? I'm joking.
So there's another thing on my list.
Hey man, this is my first podcast, man. I'm not allowed to get off my chest.
That boy Leon brought out the bazookas out here.
I didn't want to do this.
We don't have somewhere to be here.
I'm on to make a podcast.
You'd have to chop this one up. 3-hour podcast.
That's what happens when you bring all the champs together, man.
I do want to say one thing though before you do turn it off. Like I do hope everybody in this league gets a chance to get this feeling because it's a nice feeling. You're not gonna catch me because I'm gonna keep trying to win them too. But I want everybody to know what it's like to sit on that mountaintop.
Nice.
This doesn't have to be a little small fraternity. Everybody, there's room for everybody.
Come on.
Just know who's the big dogs in the
Know
junkyard.
who you're trading with. Like I told you guys the last podcast, man. If Scotty asks for you a trade, that means he knows something about that player.
No, I don't, bro.
Hey man, don't take it personal, man. You know what I mean? We just up here talking shit, swallowing spit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
He get called out, man. That's just, that's trash talk.
You get called out and then you address it, in the group chat and stuff like that. And you're like, dang, why you talking about me like that? Well, hey man.
And it doesn't matter anyways because look at me. I was a joke of the league for pretty much the start of the league for 9 years. So
Leon shook my hand.
I still am. The damn trophy.
That's an honor.
So we're gonna do with that, by the way, man.
I'm gonna throw it away. I'm a trash man.
Boy,
Put it in the back of my truck.
That's Lazarus.
Oh, they ain't gonna go to nobody?
Yeah, it's Lazarus.
Oh, that's
I
going to
voted for last man.
No, I wanted the big trophy because I was gonna have y'all take a picture with it and put it as the thumbnail for the pod.
we can use the belt
But
though.
it's cool. Yeah, we use the belt or whatever.
I don't have the big trophy. He has the big trophy.
Yeah, I know that now.
Oh.
I'm in between places right now.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But no, I thought it'd be cool to get all the champs with the trophy and put that as a thumbnail. So, because we taking this to the next level. So, because we about to have Kanye on next week. So we about to go through the roof, boy. Because when he plays fantasy football.
That might be Leon. House, man. You ain't got all the answers.
But all right, real quick, because I do have somewhere to be, but we can go through I do want to talk about the matchups of the week because we got some players. If you win, you win. You know what I'm saying? We got JT here going against Vinny. That was a tight knit. The projections changed a little bit, but we don't go off projections.
I ain't
either.
Yeah, that's a matchup.
Touchdown, man.
More about whoever he's playing.
Jamar Chase, that touchdown, and that Buffalo defense is killing you.
We got David going against home of the Braves. Going against Leon.
He has to win. Home of the Braves.
Yeah, I have to win. I just looked at it a little bit. He's 60% chance to win. I'm like 40. It looks like, but
it's still early.
It's still early, but.
And then Dean's holding that 7th spot, but he's going against Scotty. Let's make a deal. So he's projected to beat him by like damn near 80 points.
Only time I'm rocking with you, Scotty.
I ain't gonna lie. I was telling Rick. I said, man.
Bench all your players.
I was like, man, I ain't gonna do the league like that, baby. Because I sure was gonna just leave a whole bunch of people out, baby. I said, come on, D. Come on, big dog. But I want to jump JT. I want that, not JT, but David. I wanted that first round bye. But I sure didn't want you in the playoffs, big dog. I sure didn't want you in the playoffs, man. So I was like, let me just drop everybody. But then you're already number 5 seed, so it doesn't really matter now. You know what I mean? So.
Dude, man, you gotta win to get in here, man. I ain't taking nothing for granted. That's like 5 or 6 of us with the same record, man. 2 of them win, they are in because I think Shenika automatically.
She's already in.
Yeah.
So it's like 5 of us going for
I mean,
one
she
spot.
playing last,
Last.
so
Mm-hmm.
you know he ain't gonna let her lose. So
Yeah, he already took all his play. He's projected for 80 points. I think the dude didn't put nobody in.
That's what I was gonna do too.
So those
See,
are
that's
some,
their strategy all over the place.
some matchups. I tried to give homeboy. Try to give Ricky a win this year. Just getting off the league good.
You know, I remember saying something earlier, like when we was talking about teams that predictions, and Lash was down there at the bottom. Everybody was voting Lash for being like the sorriest team at the end. I was like, man, I think I said 49 game might catch him.
I mean, he's still down there.
They about the same record, 1 game apart or something.
Yeah.
Damn. So,
but he could have got a couple more wins if he didn't sell his team. And then plus he dropped a Singletary too. So
Those were my
Who got
picks.
Singletary?
he left them out there.
he picked up I
Damian.
think Damian's team did.
Oh, yeah, he picked them up. I'm about to say, I think the league stayed.
But that was my 2 picks though at the beginning of the year. You guys said the weakest GM. I said Liza and Fat Boy, dog.
You said Fat Boy hard though. It wasn't no rain.
And bringing it back, that goes to show is that he did like 3 different trades, and he still was like in the middle and up there. He still could have been making a playoffs, and that goes back to my point that if he would have did that trade with me, he probably would have been third.
What was that trade?
The trade was Jalen Waddle. No, I think it was Nick Chubb and Terry McLaurin for a first and a second. Or first and a third. I'm sorry, first and a third. I think it was. So and Terry McLaurin is like top 15 wide receiver right now, and Nick Chubb is top 7 right now. I mean, he got passed because of Josh Jacobs getting nasty, and a couple other running backs getting nasty. But it is what it is. I mean, I don't want to go down that road. Most don't have enough time.
Something out again.
All right, y'all got anything to finish up? Any last words?
Matchup of the week is these 2 right here, man.
They said.
Oh, they already said that? Okay. I thought we was all going around. I didn't get to say mine, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. It's definitely a matchup of the week.
Alright.
Because you're in, right?
Nah, we're both
5 and 6.
I'm 5. I'm 6. He's 5. If one of us loses and Leon wins, he's in.
Oh.
Or if
Okay,
one of
that's
us,
what you guys talking about.
And then Damian wins
Damian
too.
wins too. Yeah.
Oh, word?
And Dean, right?
And Dean.
Dean.
Well, Dean's because Dean's the 7th above him right now. But I know
So
y'all
that's
still
the same
in.
record.
It doesn't matter. So if any of those 3 below us win,
Yeah.
then they're in and we're out.
Yeah, you lose, you pretty much out.
Yeah. Because
So,
he's gonna be
the point
7.
it just depends on
He'll be
points.
on 7 and 7.
Yeah, points. He got points over all y'all.
But he's be 7 and 7. Everybody else will be 7 or 8 and 6.
Oh, okay, got you.
So the 2 win, you're in pretty much.
Yeah, this is the tightest playoff race we had to date.
Yeah.
That's why, like y'all said before, this league's nasty.
Y'all got out the mud though, for real.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like the people that have the least like high picks, third round. Well, you traded your first round pick and started in the
But
second.
I didn't have a second, and I didn't have a fourth.
Well, you had second from last, right? When you traded your first.
Yeah,
round.
I had a first pick, and I traded it to get that second, but I didn't have like 2 of my top 4.
Yeah.
I was missing like a second rounder and a third rounder. Yeah, second and third rounder I didn't have. So, but yeah.
And like all you guys are like top 5 in points. Well, Leon, except for Leon.
Well, but that just goes back to what I was talking about before, is this champ mentality that JT and Marcus have. They didn't have a top 2 picks, and Mob's team, he didn't have he had a first. He didn't have a first.
They have a first and
He had
third.
a second, yeah. And so, but I mean, he's sitting there smacking people around.
Yeah.
And these guys are closer, are in the playoffs, aren't close to getting into the playoffs. And the guys that had 2 firsts, 2 seconds, not even in there, they sold their team already. So that's what I'm talking about with this champ mentality. Is is that these me and JT, we came out from the mud. I was 13, and now look, you know, I'm borderline. I mean, I need to beat David's team, which is, you know, it's gonna be tough, but at least I'm close to being there. And the people that have major picks, I mean, look at them.
What?
Hey, that boy is
Look at him.
Nice, that dude.
All right, man. Well, Vinny, go ahead, man. Take us out, man.
Yeah, man. So I hope y'all enjoyed the Champions edition of UTB Podcast, man. Y'all stay black and stay up. Peace.